1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Welcome back to the TMCJ Podcast. We are on episode 24. We are 2 weeks into the new year and already out of ideas. It's not necessarily true, but it's how I feel whenever I'm trying to put these topics together in the morning. Luckily, as you
I'm
reminded
bursting
me,
with ideas today, mate.
Yeah, I know. You're very quickly becoming the brains of this podcast.
What? That's not true.
Oh, man. So, topics. I do want my very first one that I want to get into right off the bat before I forget about it, and we go into something that's a more lengthy discussion. We talked about New Year's resolutions a couple podcasts back, I want to point out that I have, as of the beginning of this week, I have established mine and have been following it all week.
Oh yeah? What is it?
So, following our kind of tenets, our thoughts on what the best way to construct one was, I tried to make one that was both flexible and doable, but also would give me some kind of a tangible benefit. So, my resolution is at least 4 days a week, before I have breakfast in the morning, I need to do something productive, right? So that could be chores, housework, it could be doing a workout.
That's why we're starting so late, because of your New Year's resolution.
That is actually why because not only did I have to do my normal stuff in the morning, but so basically, and I have a notebook that I have over there that I had used for a previous New Year's resolution, and so just every day I'm logging down what it is. So like one day this week, I took out the trash and recycling, did a bunch of push-ups, and did the dishes, right? But all has to be before I start work too, because I'm not counting work as something productive, which I find kind of funny. But or like another day this week, I edited the podcast that's going up today and set it to upload. That again, something productive. One day this week, I hopped on the elliptical, did a mile on that, and then vacuumed the house. Just little, basically, and it can be small or like it could just be something like this morning. It was just push-ups, curls, and squats, and then I was done. Just like one set of each.
Yeah.
So, and I also don't log anything that happens after I eat breakfast. So that's okay. Kind of the chopping off point.
It sounds more like, instead of I can't remember the phrase you used. It sounds more like you're doing things that you're not obliged to do, as opposed to not putting in effort.
Exactly. Yeah. So these are things that I could put off, and but they're all things that will have a benefit somehow to my day if I don't put them off.
Yeah, that's fine. It was a real struggle first. So when we recorded the New Year's resolution one, it was 5 days before the New Year.
Mm-hmm.
And I went out after the podcast. I did a mile-long run, and I got home very lightheaded, very and that super kind of set my mind back. So I did exactly what I said you shouldn't do in the podcast, in that I went too far too soon. So I toned it back. Yesterday, today as well, I've been doing kilometer runs, just so that I get my breathing back into proper circulation, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I've done it before. I've been going running, and I'll do it a day, well, every other day or every day. And the biggest hurdle at the beginning, like the first week or two, is just getting the breathing through, so that I'm breathing properly and it doesn't hurt when I breathe while I'm running. What comes after that is like the what I consider the real workout, which is the leg. Your legs are exhausted by the time you get back, and that's the stage I want to get back to. And it's getting there again slowly. I know today I was a lot faster than I was yesterday. And keeping it to 1 kilometer, maybe what I'll do is I'll just try and get a little bit faster with that kilometer each time, as opposed to further. And then when I get a decent speed, I guess, I'll start increasing
when the 1
distance.
kilometer becomes child's play, then you can think about pushing
Precisely.
it. Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm just taking it steady. Gonna make my way up. I'm still gonna stick with the want to be running a mile at some point every day.
That's
I just need to work towards it.
Yeah, that's good that with the from the psychological perspective too. If doing just going through the motions and doing it. Like when I remember when I used to do like CrossFit, right? And they'd have you do like these really intense lifts. They would have you practice with basically no weight at all for a while. And the idea was just going through the motions and training your body to follow through with the proper form and technique. And I think it's the same thing from a mental perspective. Even though it's not like something super demanding, you're training your mind that, okay, I'm going to go out and I'm going to run. And I'm going to go out and I'm going to go run. And then you're getting the breathing right, and then you can worry about actually training like really hard if you want to.
Yeah. Yep, it's just a little time.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I just wanted to do that because I know we talked about forming New Year's resolutions, but as of last week's podcast, I hadn't thought of mine yet.
Also, I've been keeping up with the Twitter as well. Just about. It's kind of hard because, obviously, we don't yet have anyone following the Twitter. So every time I go on it, I'm like, I'm just doing this for no reason at all. But I am doing it for a good reason. I'm doing it so that, one day it will grow. We will grow as a channel, and it'll be there, and I'll have practiced for it, and I'll be ready. So yeah, that's going well.
There we go. And you,
was there anything else
all you
regarding
people listening here, if any of you use Twitter, follow us, damn it. No, but all that being said, I say that, but I made a Twitter account and maybe used it for 6 months back in 2016 or 2015, and it was the least productive time of my life. Like, fucking...
Yeah. Well, don't go to the rest of Twitter. Just go on just for us, and then never use Twitter.
Oh my god.
There was actually I was watching a...
Sorry. Just before you get to that, speaking of, on the subject of Twitter, because one of the few things that we follow on, when I made the podcast Twitter account, I had it follow a few people, and one of the people I had it follow was Elon Musk. He's now the richest man on Earth.
Oh, really?
The Tesla stock jumped up by a decent margin, and he just passed the founder of Amazon.
Oh, nice. There was a Christmas quiz I was listening to, well, obviously around Christmas, and that question came out, who was the richest man on Earth, so I guess that's not the correct answer anymore. I thought it was going to be like a Saudi Arabian prince or something, but no.
Yeah, no, it's Tesla.
Amazon dude.
Their stock jumped up by like $200 a share. It was a $200 bump upward, and now he's he's now the richest man on Earth.
Damn. Yeah, cool. I mean, yeah. Did I tell you about the controversy with him recently or not? It's a bit political, so I don't really want to go into it.
I feel like there's always a controversy with him, because he is the exact, he's the Tony Stark type, where he's rich and he's inventing all these cool things with, he's making all these companies, they're making these innovations, and then he goes on Twitter and shitposts.
Yeah, I mean, he is a memer, that's for sure.
I mean, is it the one about pronouns?
Yes, it is.
Okay, yeah, I have heard of this, and I found that hilarious. But
oh yeah,
I always find it hilarious when somebody goes on social media and pisses someone off. That's just entertainment to me. That was what the internet was when I was growing up. Was you went online and tried to piss people off.
I mean, that's why I'm surprised you don't use Twitter more, because people get. People are easily offended on Twitter.
I lie when I said I made my first Twitter account in 2015. I actually made my first one in 2010 at the urging of one of my college friends, and I got it banned within a week.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
But it wasn't anything I said. It was the name I chose for the account. I called it at Bag of Dicks.
Okay. Original.
So, and like all I did was just write stupid. To be fair, that's what I used Facebook for too. Was none of my like. It's like, tell us how your day's going, and I would just write whatever random thought came to my mind that usually would be completely nonsensical, and most of the time would just annoy people. Um, yeah, I'm not the ideal social media user because they want people like. So I think social media companies imagine people logging in there and interacting with human beings as if they would interact with them in real life, but that's not how the internet works.
No, that's kind of how Discord works, but
Yeah, but Discord in general,
it's
it's
a lot
like
more homely.
right. You can speak on Discord and you can have video calls, and so there's
Yeah.
a closer connection, I think, to people.
Mm. Where Discord is like a small cafeteria where you might be talking to a group of people. Facebook or Twitter or something is like a shopping mall, and you're just standing in the middle, screaming out that you had a nice coffee.
Yeah, I can just imagine that somebody walking out of like a coffee shop and just like, "This coffee's great."
Hashtag ad.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no. But what I was gonna say just now was that I was watching a YouTube video and someone made, well, a small group of people made a YouTube equivalent, right?
Mm.
Where creators will put their videos up, and they will get paid based on the amount of time that people spend viewing their videos. There is a cost to watching things on this platform, and I can't remember if it's $1 or £1 a month.
Mm.
So, and also with that, there is 0 ads as well on any of the videos. So I thought that, I mean, again, I don't know anyone who this is not sponsored or anything. I'm just saying that sounded like quite a nice idea.
Yeah. What do you know what the site was called? Because I know of a few that follow a similar model.
I want to say it was called like Nebula or something.
Okay.
Uh,
Because I've heard of a site called Minds.com, and they follow a similar thing, except it is free to go on the site, and they don't. It's not like monetary interactions, but you get like this fake currency for the site, and then you can use that to tip, and then the creators can use that to highlight their videos and get more people to watch them, and
yeah.
it's an interesting economy to it. I looked into it a few years back, and I think I poked around with the site a little bit, but I didn't end up really using it.
Yeah, it's hard to beat free,
Yeah.
especially when AdBlock works on YouTube. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It seems like a nicer, better community kind of thing.
Well, it's kind of that's been what's happening with honestly with both. I think YouTube is the one where everyone's at, right? So there's definitely going to be there's quality stuff out there, but you kind of have to dig for it.
Oh yeah, there's so much trash. But every so often you find a real golden nugget, and you're like, damn, I want to watch this creator now.
Yeah, two channels that I just found that I've been following because I'm a massive like history nerd. I discovered a channel like it's mostly an alternate history channel called What If Alt Hist.
Yeah.
Quite good.
The moment you said alternate history, I was like, the words "what if" came into my mind anyway.
Oh yeah, okay, you used to watch it too.
No, I haven't seen it. It's just something
okay.
you do in general when.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But so like he did a series recently where he was talking. He's doing a series like looking at potential developments in like global politics, geopolitics, like how countries are going to be interacting with each other over the next 10 to 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the big contests coming up is a bunch of countries are cutting off each other's water supply because they need the water for like other reasons, and it's causing a lot of tension. And it's just a very interesting analysis, places that I hadn't even thought about in years. But
are we running out of water?
No. But so an example is Ethiopia is building a dam, or a series of dams for hydroelectric power, but it's at the source of the Nile, and so that's going to cause serious water problems.
A lot of land,
yeah, for Egypt and one other country just south of Egypt. I can't remember what country is south of Egypt. Namibia, maybe?
Not great with geography.
Doesn't matter.
Not in the real world, anyway.
So Ethiopia building this dam, they need the power to help their developing economy, but Egypt is like 90% of the population lives along the Nile, so if the Nile has less water, that's going to cause serious problems for them.
Also, just a massive tourism point.
Yeah, that too. And so there's the two, those two countries are kind of mad at each other right now. But that's just one example. So it's not like we're running out of water, it's just that the sources of some key water supplies are located in different countries than the ones that use them.
Mm.
So
it's like playing, what is it, that city building simulator game, and putting like the poop outtake pipes at the top of the river, and then the little cities down the road just get poop water.
I think I know what game you're talking about.
I think it's literally called City Building Simulator, isn't it?
Well, the City Skylines?
No, City Skylines, that's the one. Yeah.
But so that's one channel. Another one that I ran into recently is Economics Explained, and it's exactly what it sounds like, but it's this Australian dude.
That makes it far better.
It is hilarious hearing economics explained by a dude with a bogan accent. Like it just.
I think
the thing you have to know about the I can't do that. I can't do that accent.
No, you can't.
I can't do. I tried and I fucked it up.
The only Australian channel I think I follow or have followed in the past, and I occasionally keep coming back to it, is the I think it's called How Ridiculous or something, where they basically just got this massive tower out in the middle of a deserty forest, and they just drop shit off of it onto other things. I've
seen those videos. You actually probably sent me some before.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's very. You don't need a brain really to watch it, but it's very satisfying. Sometimes just watching, like, I don't know, Thor's hammer at 200 feet colliding with a glass table at the bottom or something. Like, I don't know. It's just very satisfying to watch. And yeah, their accents are on point.
Oh my god. Yeah, so like, but that's kind of my point. Is there are gems out there, but it takes you a bit to find them on YouTube.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting, like, going onto a site like that. But yeah.
Yeah, it's like I said, I don't think it's ever going to beat YouTube because A, it's free, and B, it's what everybody knows. That being said, that's what they said about Facebook, and now, I mean, Facebook's predominantly used by middle-aged people who are angry about
everything.
I don't know. Yeah, it's just full of hate, really.
Yeah. I mean,
it always kind of was.
I technically still have a Facebook account, but I haven't logged into it since January of last year.
Right. Yeah, it's all about pictures and things now these days, and Facebook is not as cohesive.
For years, that's all I used Facebook for. Was I used it as a place to store photos. But now I have plenty of extra hard drive space, so why bother?
Yeah, I've used the only times I used Facebook in like the last year was to get in touch with people who I haven't seen in like 3 years.
Yeah, I realized that we're 20 minutes into the first segment, and all we've really done, we talked about New Year's resolutions for about 4 or 5 minutes, and then ragged on social media for the next 15.
Mean, I'm just saying that bingo card's going to be looking pretty full already.
Oh my god.
Oh dear. Yeah, sorry, do we have a second topic?
We still have the first topic.
Wait, what was the first topic?
I haven't even brought it up yet. I mentioned the New Year's resolution thing.
I thought that was the first topic.
Well, I had that jotted down as just like, as a follow-up, let's talk about follow up on the New Year's resolution thing. But the first topic was the one you had from last week that we didn't actually get a chance to talk about. And this is going to be, I feel like this is much less interesting than just shitting on social media. But I kind of...
But we do it every week, so we do got to give them a slight break.
I like the idea of it, though. So the topic that Blue suggested last week that we didn't get to was, so in a lot of video games you'll have like key items like tools, weapons, things that are a little bit fanciful or more realistic, and we wanted to just like think of some that would like either be ridiculous if they existed in real life or could actually work if they were in real life.
Yep, it's that time again. Put your nerd goggles on. It's time for video games.
Oh my god, you even said it like you had adenoids. Oh my god. Okay, so the one that I used as an example when you brought this up last week that I feel like I'm just going to start with because it's very generic. The Legend of Zelda video games.
Ooh. Okay.
They had a bunch of like these kind of key items. So like, use Ocarina of Time as an example. It was a game on the N64 and now the 3DS.
I was gonna say, I would say that all the items from Legend of Zelda, because Legend of Zelda is kind of like set in the past, as it were. I think that most of the items in there are feasibly real.
But here, this is why I wanted to first, like, literally one of the best examples of something that would probably not work in real life. So a couple of them, you're right. There's a sword, there's a shield, there's a boomerang, there's bombs. Yep. Those, yeah, all conceivable in real life. But there's also a weapon called the hook shot and a long shot. It's literally like if you picture something about like half the size of a bowling ball, right? That's the middle of it. It's got a handle on the one end and like a point, like a harpoon on the other end. And it fires out, and there's a chain on it. It hooks onto something, and then, like a grappling hook, pulls you up to wherever it hooked into.
I thought that was just a grappling hook gun, though, isn't it?
Well, a grappling hook is technically just a hook on the end of a rope that you throw, and then you climb up. But this is... That's what my point is. This, in the setting of this game, is a ridiculous thing. Because, A, where is all that chain being stored? Because there's not nearly enough room inside of that thing for the chain.
Yeah.
And B, that would rip his arm off.
Would it?
I mean, the amount of force you see him pull up with in the game, I
see what you mean. Sorry, I thought you meant firing it, not getting pulled up by it.
Yeah, no, getting pulled up by it.
I mean, to be fair, though, there'd have to be a lot of force behind it to fire the projectile to start with,
well,
like
and
any distance.
Yeah, that's the other question. It's like, yeah, what is firing it out, and what is...
It's like an RPG, just like... just singes his horse that's standing behind him.
Even like grappling hook guns that we have in real life, they're a one-shot thing. You load the grapple hook in, you aim it, you fire, a charge goes off inside the gun, or the delivery device, whatever it is, and then it fires the hook up, and then it hooks on, and then you have to actually climb up the rope. It doesn't automatically wind back up.
Yeah. I mean, it's slightly future tech in that the there's no re-chambering, and I mean, if you think about it like the your favorite character in Apex, right? He puts down a base, right, and then fires off the thing, and then he can scale it that way, right?
Yeah.
Would that be feasible? 'Cause, I mean, that's kind of similar. The only difference is that it's got like it's attached to something where you're standing.
I mean, it's a futuristic thing, but yeah, so you just, like, you're basically taking a base, pounding it into the ground, and that's now an anchor point. And then, like you said, he's using a kind of explosive charge to fire the other base off at, like, a long distance. It's no different than, like, a harpoon gun in that regard.
And then he can travel even up, can't he, with the things like you grab on something and it's like just a small motor in it that just whirs you along it, right?
Yeah. It's a zip line.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not inconceivable.
Right. But it's a different thing. Like that character in that game, if you look at him, he's got like he's a robot, he's got a giant winch on his back, like
No, but I mean, it's not inconceivable in this day and like.
oh, in this day and age, yeah, it's not inconceivable.
No.
You could probably create something like that today. And I guarantee you some kind of spec ops unit in some country's military or several countries' military probably have something exactly like that.
Maybe. I thought when we were coming up with gadgets, I thought you were going to go straight in the deep end with Batman gadgets because Batman's got a lot of fancy gadgets.
But going with Batman gadgets almost feels like going with James Bond gadgets. They're always a little bit off the deep end. What were you thinking of when you were thinking of Batman?
The most significantly powerful gadget that he has, the Batarang.
What? Isn't it just like a shuriken shaped like a bat?
No, they can do all sorts of stuff. I'm pretty sure in some of the games it has sonar emitting shit. It can come back.
He has the electrocution one.
People?
Yeah.
Snark.
What?
It can kill people? No, wait, it's Batman. It can't.
Yeah,
kill
Batman
people.
can't kill people.
If he sharpened those wings, it could kill people.
Well, that's the thing. I remember watching the Batman movies, like the Dark Knight trilogy when they came out. Like, I remember seeing when he first got the suit, I'm like, he's gonna kill somebody by accident at some point. Like, Batman, like, he doesn't. His whole character, except for the new Batman, the new Ben Affleck Batman, kills people all the time. But, like, a true iteration of Batman, like, his whole shtick was he doesn't kill. He just seriously cripples people and leaves them with concussions and contusions all over their body.
Like, they can live with their mistakes.
Yeah. But then, like, when he's first looking at the suit in that first movie, like, Morgan Freeman's there talking to him about the suit, and, like, these blades pop out and fire across the room. I'm like, he's gonna pull the wrong trigger, hit the wrong button on his suit, and he's gonna kill somebody.
That's almost like in a video game where you're like, oh, I accidentally, like, jumped out of a window instead of crouching next to it. Yes. Except as Batman, it actually kills someone.
Oh my god!
Sorry, misclick.
I've done that. I did that in Cyberpunk so many times. I was trying to open something up and I hit the wrong button and threw a grenade at it. Like,
oh god, yeah. Grenades it's always grenades, isn't it?
It really is.
And it bounces off a wall next to a door, and everyone's just like, "Oh shit!"
Well, so one thing I tried to do, like, there was a van that I had to destroy in the game, right?
Yeah.
And I tossed a grenade. Like, the back doors to the van were open, so I tried to toss a grenade into the van. But there's an invisible wall where the doors normally are, so the grenade ricocheted off of nothing and came flying back into my face.
Oh dear.
Oh my god.
They I was playing Rainbow the other day and the same thing happened. I was like crouching. Me and another operative had just entered the building. There was a small hole in a wall, and I was like, I reckon I can get a grenade through there. Pulled the pin out, cooked it, and then just as I was throwing it, the person I came in with steps in front of me.
The amount of time
I'd already let go.
You have done that when I'm trying to deploy the goo traps as Legion.
Oh, but no, that's different. All right, that's you just not being aware of your surroundings. That's not my fault.
There's a wind-up time for it, so he takes the thing off and then he throws it, and I can't cancel it.
Also,
somebody just
you don't take any damage from that. I take damage from that. You just lose 5 points, and one kill is worth 100 points.
That damages my morale.
You can also pick that goo up again and replace it. I can't replace my broken skull when I've dropped a grenade at the feet of myself and an ally.
I take spiritual damage from that.
Spiritual damage, yeah, right. Haven't you hit me with Sledge's hammer before?
I have, yes.
Where's my spiritual revenge for that?
I lost a lot more points.
Yeah, as you should. You crippled me with a hammer.
Also, just getting back to the topic of gadgets, because Rainbow Six is a perfect example. There's tons of gadgets in that game. I love that my favorite character to play, Sledge, he has one gadget, and it's a hammer.
It's not even a gadget. You can't call that a gadget.
That's a gadget. Isn't Sledge Scottish? He's got simple tastes. His gadget is just like a heavy rock on a stick.
Maybe if the hammer had like Bluetooth or something, but it doesn't, so no.
Well, if it had Bluetooth, oh my god, just put speakers in the side of the hammer so he could play like bagpipes as he's smashing down walls.
And you could call it the boombox.
I want this so bad. I want this in real life, actually.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's the sledgehammer with. Mind you, the audio equipment in there would get destroyed the moment you hit a wall.
So I've got to tell this. This is quite an old story. Back in my just after college, or yeah, just after college, I went to an anime convention with some old friends, and I can't remember. Like we were just basically going around and hanging out. I was a lot nerdier back in those days, believe it or not. But the
impossible.
Yeah, exactly. We wanted to, like, I always liked the idea of like people dressing up and doing like cosplay for these things, but I also liked to like piss people off and make fun of them. So what I did was I came up with a costume idea. So you know the anime Ghost in the Shell?
Yep.
Okay.
I've not seen it, but I know of it.
Yeah, so for just quick synopsis for the people that don't know, Ghost in the Shell is a cyberpunk, like, future sci-fi anime where, you know, full body cybernetics are possible and people can, like, basically, they have, like, you know, jacks in their necks and they can plug into computers and interact directly computer to brain, that sort of stuff. It's called Ghost in the Shell because the shell is the cybernetic body, the ghost is, you know, the human mind, human spirit, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It's a very, very good anime. They made a movie and then they made a series that was also quite good called Standalone Complex. Doesn't matter.
Wasn't the movie by the guy that did Resident Evil or something?
Oh, no, I'm not talking about the live-action movie. I'm talking about the original animated movie.
Yeah, no, sorry, I'm aware, but I was just...
Yeah, but I think you're right. I'll have to check that after this.
Can't remember his name. Very famous guy.
Anyway, very serious anime, very serious movie, very, like, people think animation, they think it's for a younger audience. This is a very, like, when the movie came out in the US, I think it was an R-rated animated movie, which was unheard of at the time. But so anyway, very serious, very psychological, very thought-provoking. I decided to make the following costume. I got one of those turtle shell sandboxes, took the shell part off, threw a sheet over my entire body, cut out like eye holes in it, and then filled the turtle shell with cement and tied ropes on it so I could wear it around my back, and then put speakers in it. And I called the costume...
So you put cement in it?
Yeah, I put cement in it. It wasn't... Well, I couldn't think of another way to hold the ropes on. And I wanted to actually be a hard... the thing weighed like 40 pounds. Like, my back hurt like hell after walking around with that thing on.
Yeah, no shit!
But the fun thing was there was a dance during the convention, and I was able to fall back on the shell and spin around. That was a lot of fun.
Oh my god.
But then I couldn't get back up because it was full of cement.
Like a turtle. Very, very appropriate.
But the reason I bring it up, and you know, the whole joke was I'm the ghost in the shell. Like it was a stupid pun, but it got exactly what I wanted. I got laughs out of some people, and I got annoyance out of others. But what
Nice.
I did was in the cement, I embedded 2 Bluetooth speakers and had those hooked up to my phone. So my shell was playing music as I was walking around. And that's what, you know, talking about the Bluetooth hammer, that's what I was thinking of.
Gotcha.
Long, elaborate story just to get to that point. But
Well,
if I had just
34 minutes.
if I had just said right at the beginning, oh, this one time I had a concrete-filled turtle shell that could play the music, that would have made no sense. I needed context.
When has anything we've said made sense?
I mean, just look back at this entire first segment.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the segments we're going to be discussing today.
Oh, God. All right. You know what? You're right, though. That is a good spot to end segment 1. Yeah. So this is going to be end of segment 1 of the TMCJ podcast. Thank you all for listening, and you will hear us momentarily for segment 2.